Many people like blowing things up. Many people don't like getting shot. Both of those things can happen to you in the realms because the realms, although it famously doesn't have gunpowder, it does have smoke powder. What's the difference between gunpowder and smoke powder? And is that something like real-world smokeless powder? Let's find out. Making things go boom. Gunpowder, smoke powder, and nitroglycerine, gelignite, in the realms. When the realms became a D&D setting, it had already been established that gunpowder and handguns brought from our Earth worked in Greyhawk and other fantasy and science fiction settings. See Gary Gygax's Faceless Men and Clockwork Monsters in issue 17 of The Dragon, and my own Dragon articles, Modern Monsters in issue 57, Firearms in issue 60, and Another Volley in issue 70. However, Jeff Grubb, the traffic cop of the realms at the time, and other TSR staff designers had decided to keep the TSR world separate and differentiated, and Boot Hill was still a game TSR was publishing at the time, that gunpowder wouldn't work on Toril. What would work would be something far rarer and harder to obtain than the right mix of saltpeter, sulfur, and charcoal. H. Beam Piper, in his Lord Kelvin stories, had already given us the notion of a gunpowder theocracy, and my friend Roger Zelazny, in his famous Amber series, had highlighted the notion of gunpowder doesn't work as an explosive in amber itself, but what Shadow Earth, or our real world that is, knows as jeweler's rouge, a mild abrasive used in polishing, does work as an explosive equivalent. That's the in-world reason for the title of the second Amber novel, The Guns of Avalon. So, for the realms, smoke powder was born, a secret mixture that involves divine magic and does explode on Toril. This has caused some confusion among gamers ever since, as real-world smokeless powder, the so-called clean alternative to black powder, has over time become referred to as smoke powder. They are not the same thing. That is, the real-world smoke powder and the realms smoke powder are not the same. Right, enough about our real world. To the realms, wherein the deity Gond is the being who banned gunpowder from exploding, that is, burning very rapidly, and igniting, burning with an open flame. He did this because of many deaths among his clergy and most devout lay worshippers when they experimented with gunpowder whilst creating new mechanisms for the greater glory of God. The deity feared he would lose too many followers too fast and frighten all other mortals into shunning his worship. So he tinkered with gunpowder and later several other compounds, including nitroglycerine, or Halamda, as it's known in the realms, to the gnomes who devised it, to prevent them from being explosive. Smoke powder is the realm's equivalent of gunpowder. It ignites and explodes because of a magical ingredient that circumvents Gond's prohibition. And this is acceptable to Gond because the magic is a not widely known secret, and the proportions of ingredients must be precise to make smoke powder that works. So the substance remains rare and expensive and, unlike gunpowder, not easily made by just anyone, and the manufacture and sale of smoke powder by the devout of Gond is something Gond can control by holy decrees, protecting most of his clergy while at the same time generating temple income. Which begs the question, why do gunpowder and Halamda exist in the realms? Answer: they both have other uses in the realms different from the real-world ones. Gunpowder, applied as a powder like dry meal powder or real-world gunpowder dust, polishes all ferrous metals by removing all rust from their surfaces. Wetted gunpowder, applied as a paste, usually metal items are encased in it. It's put in a dish or bucket or even a larger cask, and the item or items are buried in the paste so all sides are in contact for a sufficient time, permeates ferrous items to banish all corrosion, no matter how deep. So an item removed from the paste is rust-free at that moment, not forever. Please note that a rust monster corrodes ferrous items so much that they're flakes of rust on the verge of falling apart. So what emerges from a gunpowder immersion will be mere shards and flakes, not a usable weapon or even a recognizable trophy.
So, Ed, what is your favorite part of making these videos?
That I can help somebody in their Realms campaign, or maybe a whole lot of somebody's, by sharing more details of the Realms with them.
If you've been enjoying these videos that we're making, please consider becoming a protector of the realms. You can go to patreon.com/EdGreenwood, and not only does that help support Ed directly, it also facilitates us being able to continue creating these videos for you here. Or hey, maybe Patreon's not your thing. If that's the case, you can check out Ed's shop, official Ed Greenwood adventuring gear, and you should be seeing some cool designs that we have going on the screen, as well as something Ed is wearing right now. But thank you so much, and I hope you enjoy the rest of the video.
Thank you. Halamda, a clear jelly, permeates living flesh and tissue and removes all infections, stops rot, neutralizes acid as it is. They are at the moment of contact, so it halts flesh-eating diseases and decay. It is itself harmlessly edible, and it doesn't taint what it's applied to for human consumption, and so can be used as a preservative for meat and fish being transported long distances to serve as food, and to keep viable severed body parts for later surgery, and to preserve evidence or unfamiliar corpses for examination. Unlike in our real world, it doesn't become unstable, that is, more explosive, over time. Charcoal, saltpeter, and sulfur, the components of gunpowder, all function the same in the realms as they do in our real world, separately. That is, deflagration occurs, but they won't detonate, explode, in the realms if combined. So if someone in the realms mixes charcoal, saltpeter, and sulfur and ignites them with the flame, they won't work for much of anything except scorching, as in the real world. If mixed in the right proportions to make gunpowder, the mix won't ignite or explode in the realms as in the real world, thanks to Gon's power and thanks to Mistra's cooperation. She subsumed his metaspell, shifting what gunpowder does into the weave, so it now permeates Toril, as does the magic that makes smokepowder work. To confuse matters further, gunpowder has come into use in language in the realms as another name for smokepowder. Most folk of the realms have no idea that anything called gunpowder explodes, and so has weaponized uses in any place called Earth, remember? But there's just enough covert travel between the realms and Earth that words can make the trip. So, why did Gon do this? He didn't want to lose his priesthood and lay worshippers to explosions and widespread fear among the survivors, as everyone went wild experimenting with gunpowder at the same time. Thereafter, he had a situation where rarer, more expensive smoke powder becomes a big temple income stream. It could be industrialized, but at prohibitive prices for most because of the mage work. That is, instead of going on a dangerous adventuring career, a wizard could choose drudgery but relative safety and high income by churning out smoke powder. So if you heard claims in the realms that the deity Kasuth was behind gunpowder not working in the realms, that was just propaganda from his clergy trying to take credit. Kasuth does consume napalm, gelignite, and other flame-boosting substances. Fireworks and firecrackers do exist in the realms, but they pop because of smoke powder. Priests of Gon make a lot of money selling fire seeds, which are magically limited kernels of smoke powder used to make things that go pop, or the temples make and sell fireworks and firecrackers themselves. As in the real world, fireworks and firecrackers are dangerous if misused. And there you have it. How things go boom in the realms.